Did you know that 55% of communication is body language, 38% is tone of voice, and only 7% is actual words? Surprising, right? These numbers show just how much nonverbal cues and tone impact our interactions. But there's more. Studies reveal that 70% of employees feel disengaged at work. Why? Poor communication from their leaders. This can cost companies up to $37 billion a year. Imagine the potential if leaders could communicate better. In this video, we'll unlock the secrets to building trust instantly. You'll learn about the silent power of nonverbal cues and how empathy can transform your team dynamics. Discover why authenticity matters and how storytelling can inspire. We'll also dive into transparency tactics and the art of giving feedback that uplifts. Ready to transform your leadership? Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Silent Power, Mastering Nonverbal Cues. Did you know that 93% of communication is nonverbal? That's a huge chunk, right? As a leader, your body language can speak volumes before you even utter a word. Think about a firm handshake. It's a universal sign of confidence. But did you know that a study found people are twice as likely to remember you if your handshake is firm? Now that's powerful. Your posture also says a lot. Stand tall and avoid crossing your arms. It makes you appear open and approachable. Amy Cuddy, in her book Presence, says, "Our bodies change our minds. By adopting a powerful stance, you not only look confident, but feel it too." Eye contact is another crucial aspect. Maintaining eye contact for about 60–70% of the conversation shows you're engaged and trustworthy. Just remember not to overdo it. Staring can make people uncomfortable. Facial expressions are key as well. Smiling can reduce stress and improve trust. A genuine smile can make your team feel more at ease and open to your ideas. Did you know that mirroring can build rapport? When you subtly mimic someone's body language, it can make them feel more connected to you. It's a tactic often used in sales, but works wonders in leadership too. Also, pay attention to your tone. A warm, calm voice can make you seem more trustworthy and competent. According to Albert Mehrabian, a psychology professor, tone of voice accounts for 38% of communication. So make it count! Gestures can also emphasize your points, but keep them controlled. Wild hand movements can be distracting. Use them to underline key messages, and you'll keep your team focused and engaged. Remember, nonverbal cues are like spices in cooking. Used right, they enhance your message, but too much can spoil the dish. Balance is key. In essence, mastering nonverbal cues is about being aware of what your body is saying. Practice in front of a mirror or record yourself. It might feel odd at first, but you'll see the difference it makes in your communication. Chapter 2. The Empathy Echo. Active listening techniques. Ever felt truly heard? It's a powerful feeling. As a leader, active listening can transform your relationships with your team. Let's dive into some techniques. First, give your full attention. This means putting away your phone and avoiding distractions. Show that you're present. Did you know that 55% of communication time is spent listening, but we only retain 25% of what we hear? It's time to change that. Nodding occasionally shows you're engaged. It's a simple gesture but powerful. It encourages the speaker to continue and shows you're interested. Paraphrasing is another great tool. For example, if someone says, "I'm worried about this project deadline," you might respond, "It sounds like you're concerned about meeting the deadline." This shows you're listening and trying to understand their perspective. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of, "Did you finish the report?" try, "How's the report coming along?" This invites more detailed responses and shows you're interested in their input. Another technique is reflecting feelings. If a team member seems upset, you might say, "You look frustrated. Want to talk about it?" This shows empathy and encourages open communication. Silence can be golden too. Don't rush to fill every pause. Sometimes a moment of silence can give the speaker time to think and express themselves more fully. Provide feedback, but do it thoughtfully. Instead of "That's wrong," try, "I see your point, but have you considered this?" It's less confrontational and more collaborative. Remember, active listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding the message behind them. According to Stephen Covey in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, seek first to understand, then to be understood. It's a game changer. Active listening also means being mindful of your reactions. Avoid interrupting and listen with an open mind. Your team will feel valued and more willing to share their ideas and concerns. Lastly, practice empathy. Try to put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel in their situation? This perspective can help you respond more effectively and build stronger connections. Chapter 3. Authenticity Amplified: The Impact of Being Genuine. Being genuine is more than just a buzzword. It's a powerful leadership tool. Authentic leaders inspire trust and loyalty. But how do you show authenticity in a way that resonates with your team? Start by being true to your values. People can spot a phony a mile away. According to Bill George in Authentic Leadership, staying true to your principles even when it's tough sets you apart as a leader. When your actions match your words, trust follows naturally. Share your journey. Talk about your successes and failures. Being open about your struggles makes you relatable. Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, says, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Embrace it." Transparency is key. Don't hide information from your team. Be open about company goals, challenges, and changes. A study by Harvard Business Review found that transparency significantly boosts employee engagement and performance. When people know the full picture, they feel more involved and committed. Show consistency. Authenticity isn't a one-time act. It's about being consistent in your behavior. If you're supportive one day and dismissive the next, it confuses and erodes trust. Listen to your team. Value their opinions and feedback. Show that you're not just a figurehead, but a leader who cares. As Simon Sinek puts it in Leaders Eat Last, leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. Admit when you're wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. Owning up to them shows humility and strength. It's far more powerful than pretending to be perfect. Use your own voice. Don't try to mimic other leaders. Your unique style is what will resonate most with your team. Authenticity comes from being comfortable in your own skin. Be approachable. Encourage open communication. Make sure your team feels they can come to you with their concerns or ideas. This fosters a positive, trusting environment. Celebrate small wins. Recognize your team's efforts. This not only boosts morale but shows that you're genuinely invested in their success. Lastly, be patient. Building trust through authenticity takes time. Stay committed to being genuine, and the trust will come. Chapter 4. Storytelling Magic, Inspiring Through Personal Narratives. Everyone loves a good story. But in leadership, storytelling is more than entertainment. It's a powerful way to connect and inspire your team. Start with your why. Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, highlights the importance of explaining the purpose behind your actions. When your team understands your motivations, they're more likely to buy into your vision. Share personal anecdotes. Stories from your own life or career can be incredibly motivating. They make you more relatable and provide concrete examples of your values in action. Involve emotions. Stories that evoke emotions are more memorable. According to Chip and Dan Heath in Made to Stick, people remember information better when it's wrapped in emotions. Whether it's a story of a major win or a challenging failure, make it heartfelt. Use vivid details. Paint a picture with your words. Describe settings, characters, and events in a way that your team can visualize. This makes your story more engaging and impactful. Incorporate your team's stories. Highlighting team members' experiences and achievements can be very motivating. It shows that you value their contributions and see them as integral parts of the company's journey. Align stories with values. Make sure your stories reinforce the core values and mission of your organization. This alignment helps to cement these principles in your team's minds. Keep it simple. Avoid jargon and complex narratives. The best stories are often straightforward and easy to follow. Aim for clarity and impact over complexity. Include a lesson. Every good story has a moral. Make sure your story has a clear takeaway that relates to your message or goal. This gives your team something concrete to remember and apply. Practice your delivery. A good story can fall flat if told poorly. Practice your storytelling skills. Work on your tone, pace, and body language to keep your audience engaged. Make storytelling a habit. Don't save it for big meetings or presentations. Incorporate stories into your everyday communication. It will become a natural and effective part of your leadership style. Chapter 5. Transparent Tactics, the Art of Open Communication. Transparency is a cornerstone of trust. When leaders are open, their teams feel more secure and engaged. But how do you ensure you're being transparent in a way that fosters trust? First, share the bigger picture. Explain the company's vision, goals, and challenges. According to a Gallup poll, only 41% of employees know what their company stands for and what makes it different from competitors. Clear communication can fix this. Be honest about setbacks. If a project isn't going well, let your team know. Sugarcoating or hiding problems only leads to mistrust. Remember, bad news doesn't get better with time. Address issues head-on and involve your team in finding solutions. Hold regular updates. Whether it's weekly meetings or monthly newsletters, keep your team in the loop. This consistency helps avoid the rumor mill and ensures everyone is on the same page. Encourage questions. Create an environment where team members feel comfortable asking questions and voicing concerns. This shows that you value their input and are open to dialogue. Be accessible. Make sure your team knows they can reach out to you. An open-door policy, whether literal or figurative, can make a big difference. It shows you're approachable and willing to listen. Provide context. When making decisions, explain the reasoning behind them. This helps your team understand the thought process and reduces confusion. As Patrick Lencioni says in The Advantage, if people don't weigh in, they can't buy in. Acknowledge uncertainty. If you don't have all the answers, it's okay to admit it. Transparency isn't about having all the solutions, but about being honest about where you stand. Celebrate successes openly. When the team achieves a milestone, celebrate it. Public recognition boosts morale and shows that you value the team's hard work. Use clear language. Avoid jargon and technical terms that might confuse your team. The goal is to communicate clearly and effectively. Get feedback. Regularly ask your team for feedback on your communication. Are they getting the information they need? What can you improve? This ongoing dialogue helps you refine your approach. In essence, transparency builds trust by showing that you're open, honest, and committed to your team's success. Practice it consistently, and you'll foster a culture of trust and integrity. Chapter 6. Feedback Fortitude. Constructive criticism that builds up. Giving feedback can be tricky. Done right, it can motivate and improve performance. Done wrong, it can demoralize and disengage. So how can leaders provide constructive criticism that builds up rather than tears down? First, focus on the behavior, not the person. Instead of saying, "You're always late," try, "I've noticed you've been arriving late recently." This approach is less personal and more focused on the specific issue. Be timely. Don't wait for the annual review to give feedback. Address issues as they arise. This immediacy helps employees correct course and feel supported. Balance positives and negatives. The sandwich method is effective. Start with a positive, address the issue, and end with another positive. This cushions the critique and keeps morale high. Be specific. Vague feedback like "do better" isn't helpful. Detail what needs improvement and why. For example, "I noticed the report missed some key data points. Including these will help us make better decisions." Offer solutions. Don't just point out problems. Suggest ways to fix them. This shows you're invested in their improvement and willing to help them succeed. Use I statements. Phrases like "I feel" or "I've observed" are less accusatory and more reflective. They show that you're sharing your perspective rather than making definitive judgments. Listen actively. Feedback should be a two-way street. Encourage your team to share their thoughts and feelings. This dialogue can provide insights and foster mutual understanding. Keep it private. Criticizing someone in front of their peers can be humiliating. Provide feedback in a private, respectful setting. This shows you respect their dignity and are focused on their growth. Follow up. After giving feedback, check in to see how the person is progressing. This ongoing support shows you're committed to their development. Encourage self-assessment. Ask your team to reflect on their performance. This promotes self-awareness and accountability. It also makes feedback sessions more productive and collaborative. Stay calm and composed. Deliver feedback with a calm and respectful demeanor. If you're angry or frustrated, wait until you're composed. Your emotional state can impact how the feedback is received. Incorporate feedback into regular routines. Make it a part of your team's culture. Regular constructive feedback helps create an environment of continuous improvement and trust.